What's going on, Kinfolk? Yes, sir. Welcome back to Key to the City podcast. We back with episode 9, baby. Still rolling along. I appreciate everybody that's been tuning in and still showing support for the podcast. Still liking, sharing, commenting, telling your homeboys and your homegirls. We sure enough appreciate it, Kinfolk. We're gonna keep doing what we're doing. Shout out to my guest for episode 8. We had my man Drevo Coolidge in this thing. Very unique sound, very talented artist. Y'all check him out. Support him. Go follow and stream all his music. The man jamming, you dig? I wouldn't lie to you. And just like last episode, this one is no different. We're gonna keep hitting you in your head with quality content and quality guests. And my man I got with me today, he gonna keep us fresh to death from head to toe. You dig that? He's a designer and he is the founder of Kyris Kustoms, where they specialize in opulent custom menswear. Yes, sir. I definitely got to see what's going on with this. Entrepreneur in the city for a minute, man. He's well known, and we're gonna find out a little more about him, his background, find out how he got the passion to be tailored and fresh to death every day, because I can't even muster it. And maybe he can drop a few tips on your boy. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Kinfolk, y'all welcome to the city. Mr. Kyris Brown, what's going on, King?
What's good, brother? I appreciate the opportunity, man. I'm happy to be on your platform and also just share some space with you, man. Let's build.
Likewise, brother. And that is one of the mottos of the show. Let's build and build with your kinfolk. And that's what we're trying to do here, man. So for myself and my audience, just give me a little bit about your background, where you're from originally, where you hail from, where you attended school, things like that.
Okay, man. I'm from the Mississippi Delta, man. Cleveland,
Oh,
Mississippi,
okay.
by way of Mound Bayou in Winstonville, Mississippi, man. If you know a little history, man, Mound Bayou is a significant place. It's founded by former slaves, one of the first black towns founded by slaves. A lot of people always revere, Tulsa, Oklahoma is Black
Right.
Wall Street, which definitely shout out to them. But my hometown is definitely one of the ones that was a Black Wall Street within itself, man. So that's my roots, man. I call it the microcosm of the world.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I want to circle back to that.
Yeah, so man, just from a Mississippi Delta town, man, was fortunate to kind of have family all throughout, with the Great Migration. A lot of family left the South and went to the Midwest, to Chicago, Milwaukee, Flint, Michigan, out west to Cali, and all throughout the East Coast, as far as up in DC, for the most part. Now, of course, all throughout the South, man. But basically got my education, graduated high school from Eastside High School, home of the Trojans.
East side.
Yeah. Not like Joe Clark, what I mean? It was rough like that, but we got a rich history as well. But I finished up high school. I went to a junior college, double major, and then I transferred to University of Southern Mississippi. Got another dual in basically merchandise marketing as well as fashion, and eventually I got a bachelor's. I mean, not a bachelor's, a master's. I finished coursework at Grambling State University for the most part. So I got a few degrees for the most part, even though I think one of them only applies. But
yeah, it's all good.
I'm kind of educated within the classroom, but also in the streets. I got a very diverse upbringing when it comes to just far as family and people on the right end, on the bad end, man. So
Right.
I kind of know both sides, but that's just a little bit of information, man, as far as where I'm from and my education pertains to.
Facts. And circling back to Mound Bayou, the reason why it stuck out to me is because when people were talking about this whole blackout thing, they've been doing the last few weeks, and they were discussing Black Wall Street, which is mostly known in our community. But there was, I won't call it a meme, but like a graphic circulating about Mound Bayou. And could you just give us a little brief history on that? Like why it's so important?
Yeah, man, Mound Bayou, Mississippi, so everybody probably don't know, but here in Mississippi, you had the Confederacy when they seceded from the Union right before the Civil War broke out. You had the Confederacy president was Jefferson Davis. They have a whole museum, mausoleum, and everything down on the Gulf Coast in Biloxi, Mississippi. pretty much where his library, his presidency library is. And his brother was basically a plantation owner in the Mississippi Delta. At the time, it was named something different. It wasn't called Mound Bayou. But basically what he did on his plantation, he allowed the slaves not only to, be within their skill set of being, blacksmiths and building and being, basically sharecroppers and things of that nature. He allowed them also to have some form of literacy. So when the Confederacy folded, some of those newly freed slaves, he gave them the opportunity to purchase the plantation and purchase their area. And later on, that became to be an establishment called Mound Bayou, Mississippi, founded by predominantly Isaac T. Montgomery. There's an elementary school there named Isaac T. Montgomery. Actually, my mom, she was 6th grade queen there for the most part. But in the earlier part of the 1900s, Mound Bayou was basically a staple for black banks, black insurance companies, black grocery stores, black cotton gins, basically everything black. That town was basically the staple and the cradle of black, basically economics, more so in North Mississippi. One of the first black hospitals was actually founded there. My mother, my grandmother were all born in that hospital. And then that's a little small town adjacent to it. It's called Winstonville, which is my roots also. My uncle is the mayor there now. But, back in the day, my great-grandfather, he was an alderman there. And, they say you can do something to a white person and seek refuge in Mound Bayou because, the citizens, they were either going to stand up or they were going to perish, defending what was theirs. What's significant was when Emmett Till was, brutally kidnapped and slain like 20 miles from where I was born and raised. I could take you to Money, Mississippi, where the store where he was kidnapped. I could take you to the Tallahatchie River where his body was actually, recovered. But when his mother came down from Chicago to attend the trial in Tallahatchie County, every day, Tallahatchie County is adjacent to Bolivar County, where Mound Bayou is. And she would have an armed brigade, nothing but black brothers, taking her from Mound Bayou to the Tallahatchie courthouse, and from Tallahatchie courthouse after the trial was over with, as far as during the day, back to Mound Bayou. So Mound Bayou was legit, man. So those are my roots, though.
Wow. See, I would have never known that. Each one teach one. That's what it's about right there.
That's certain.
And see, that inspires me to go and do my own research and find out more about it. I appreciate that history lesson, brother.
No problem, brother.
So back on the swag, man, where the whole passion for fashion come from? Where's the inspiration come from? Doing my research on you, I see that you were inspired by your mother and father, correct? So is that like a family legacy that you all
it's
have?
definitely a family legacy, man. My master's in social science, man. And in sociology, you have this term called socialization process. And basically with the rappers, they talk about it all the time, but that's just a technical scholarship term for it. But it's basically you're the product of your environment. You pretty much mirror what you see. We wouldn't know how to be human if it wasn't for human interaction, for the most part. So, I was heavily influenced within fashion based upon my mother, my great grandfather, uncles, and a lot of other people. We took pride in our dress. So ever since I can remember, clothing and fashion has always been just a staple within my family for the most part. You got families who are notable for, being athletes and some being, great musicians and singers. Well, my family is kind of known to, being able to put on some threads real, real nice and also make some.
Yeah, I don't know you personally, but I definitely seen you around the city, and I've never seen you slacking when it comes to them threads. You're always on point. So it's like, was this the goal the entire time? Like most of us that go through life, we don't figure out what it is that we're passionate about till later in life after we've experienced a few things. But there are few that are blessed to know what their purpose is or passion is from the get-go. So has this always been the plan, the path?
Man, it has directly at one point, and then sometimes it's been indirectly. But the significant thing about myself, I've always paid attention to what comes to me easy and what I also enjoy. But I could take you back to, you know, being a kid, having, you know, awards as best dressed, voted by my peers. You know, my first customized project was actually the original Concords in 95, 96. I actually did a science project on them. And when I was done with the science project, basically when I was reassembling the shoe around the patent leather part, my mom had a Louis Vuitton scarf, and I sewed the Louis Vuitton around the patent leather, and I basically had customized Jordans, man. So, you know, it's normal now, but back then, you're talking about, you know, 26 years ago, it wasn't so normal then. So that was some of my roots for the most part, man. But, you know, my senior book, I always said that I was going to travel the world, live around the world, pretty much be a designer. And, you know, those are things in my senior book. I posted sometime, you know, just to show inspiration. But for the most part, you know, I've always been on track, but sometimes I've been off track. But I've always understood where my focus was and what my passion was. And what I've always done well, you know, I'm a very optimistic person, and I'm also a very practical person. So when shit kind of happened, well, my bad.
No, it's the city, okay, man. We talk on here.
Okay, all right. Yeah. So, you know, when shit happens, sometimes, you know, I never go into a victim stage. I always try to find an opportunity within that, whether it's good or bad. And throughout the years, ever since coming out of college and, you know, having fashion degrees, but not necessarily starting off in fashion, I've always kind of paid attention to what we call serendipity moments. You know, some people say, you know, they're divine by God, which I do believe, you know, because I think there's a divine order in everything that we do. And you just have to have enough wisdom and foresight to extract the good out of the bad. And I've always fortunately been able to do that. So even the times when I was off course, I've always had in mind what I wanted to do. And when I see the opportunity that presents itself, when I wasn't necessarily forcing it, I took from it, learned from it, and then I build on it. And that's pretty much what I've been doing, you know, I would say over relatively the last decade. You know, I've been getting a lot of, I guess, notoriety for the last, you know, probably 6-7 years on Instagram, which it really has enhanced things because of just technology. But for the most part, it's always been a part of me. It's always been a plan, man.
That's what's up, man. Woo! See, that could motivate anybody in any industry. Alone, just off of what you're saying. When did you decide to jump out there with Kyris Kustoms? How long you been operating?
So the concept, man, has started probably about 10 years ago, behind the scenes, for the most part. I never would imagine that I would be doing, I would say, like formal suiting, because, you know, my roots are really in urban fashion. I mean, come on, man, I'm a young brother, you know, grew up early 80s babies, grew up in the 90s, heavily influenced. I'm a hip hop, southern country rap tune, just aficionado. So I take pride in our hip hop culture, and I, like Pimp say, our country rap tunes culture. So of course I always wanted to be in an urban space, and that's actually where my roots were. Like I said, with custom shoes, I used to do custom clothes, custom jerseys. You know, I was kind of like one of the guys. I always kind of just have the latest, but then put a twist on it for the most part. And you know, that was initially what I wanted to pursue up until when I basically became a legit professional within just in the work environment. I've always, you know, had great clothing, whether it was, you know, Cornelia or Xenia, Ferragamo, a lot of, you know, just basically reputable, credible brands, due to my father. But probably about 10 years ago, the wheels kind of actually got turning. And then from that, I started to piece by piece start to do certain things. And then I kind of had some direct, you know, exposure to the business and the industry in which I'm in right now from, you know, I still call him a mentor, you know, from afar. But I learned a few things. And then the opportunity came about for me to kind of like partner or do it by myself. And, you know, I think I was forced to do it by myself because the person I wanted to partner with, they pretty much kind of declined it. So again, that goes back to, you know, taking a negative and to turn it to a positive. You know, most people, they would have probably reverted or probably would have fell back because their initial want didn't necessarily happen. But I'm the type of person, I'm just kind of like, shit, with the old school folks, you either gonna shit or get off the pot. So,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? You know, I'm the shit, you know, so I'm gonna make it happen. And that's what I basically did. And social media really kind of heightened and influenced it a lot more, because I started to turn my page around more so towards business and not necessarily just personable all the time. And that's basically what happened, man. And from there, it's kind of, you know, it's been growing piece by piece.
So school me on the tailoring game, man. I don't think I've owned a tailored suit yet. I'm 36,
Okay.
just turned 36. Tailoring
Okay.
is totally different from alterations, right?
Well, so you have, they're synonymous, but they're different. And just to
Okay.
explain it, an alteration person can actually correct certain errors on a suit. That's what an alteration person. That's why the key word is to alter, meaning that they can change it. A tailor can do that, but a tailor can actually construct their entire garment.
Okay.
So the modern suit in which we wear, it derives from a military uniform, basically in Europe, in England. It's basically an old military uniform, and what we basically have, you have a Parisian style of tailoring, you have an Italian style of tailoring, you have an English style tailoring, and here in America, and then you can also say an Asian style, because Japanese, they're very, you know, keen on their style of how they make suits, especially denim. You know, back in the day, Red Monkeys and the Vizu jeans, like those were real expensive jeans. And the reason, well, if you bought them real, they were real expensive. Because, you know, you got a lot of bootleggers that was, you know, a lot of people rocking like Red Monkeys, but they
Yeah.
probably paid $100 for them, you know.
Right.
But Japanese denim is salvage denim, and it's some of the most expensive denim in the world. So, but just to get back on those three, which is Parisian, which is France, Italian, and also English. Here in America and Western culture, we kind of adapt all three of those suiting, tailoring styles, and we implement them into what our style is. And here in the Western world, or here in America, we kind of like, we're a very trendy country. So, you know, like now, I call them female suits, but you know, the guys, they like wearing, you know,
The
the skinny
capri.
linen suits. Yeah, and they
Yeah.
real short. You know, that's a trend, you know, for the most part. But you know, tailoring it comes about, like I said, in those three areas. But here in the Western world, here in America, we kind of take from all three of those. But to go back to your original description, tailoring and alterations, they're similar. An alteration person, they can basically correct or change anything from a garment. A tailor can do that, but a tailor actually creates the entire piece for the most part.
So what would go into the process if I reached out to you as a potential client? Hey man, I got an event coming up. I want to look real nice. Should I already have ideas in mind of what I'm looking for, or are you gonna ask me questions to get that out of me? And yeah, just let me know what your average process is like for the average client that comes in.
So I'm fortunate, man. I have clients all around the world. So I either, just say before COVID, we would either set up a face-to-face consultation where if you want me to travel to where you are, you know, it would be a travel deposit. You know, people fly me all over the world to actually do this. Or you're more than welcome to come here in Jackson, Mississippi, and sit down in my studio. Or we can do it like this. We can do it virtually for the most part. But if you have an event and you reach out to me for a consultation, if you don't have basically an idea of what you want to wear, of course, I'm the professional, so you're coming to me. So I will actually pose those questions of what is the lifestyle event? Is it a wedding? Is it a ball? You know, what is it? And then from there, that allows me to kind of know what the etiquette is, which you should wear with these type of lifestyle events. You know,
Okay.
so if you got a beach destination, I wouldn't put you in a wool suit, you know, for the most part. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I will pose questions for you just to extract to see what is this for, what type of event that you're attending. And then from there, we will basically get together, and then I will show you different variations of fabrics. I will explain certain things about, you know, the type of fabrics that are suitable towards the climate that you're going to be in. And then once we select all that, you know, I take you all through the specific, the specs of, like, you know, certain lapels, pockets, certain styles, fits, you know, measurements and all those things. And once all of it is basically, you know, put together, and I assess all of that, then I would tell you what the total cost is, and then you'll place a deposit, and then I get to work. And when I finish, we'll go over everything again, make sure everything fits you properly, and you know, you'll cash me out.
Already. Now, personal question. With me standing at a massive size of 5'7", will will tailoring a suit make me look taller? Will at least give me the 5'8".
Get you to 5'8". So
Yeah.
there are certain things with, like, certain colors that we can necessarily do that kind of give you a slight trick of the eye, for the most part. Now, you know, expanding your growth, you know, your growth and your height, you know, that if you want to go 3 inches, that's gonna be kind of tough, you know, for the
Yeah.
most part. But there are certain colors that I definitely would say that will complement certain things when it comes to appearance, but also the style of how a jacket is supposed to fit you. Um, that's going to also play into your proportion, your weight, and basically your frame. You know, for instance, short guys who are very, like, stocky will probably, you know, just, you know, I'm not necessarily going to say fat, but just real thick. A double-breasted jacket doesn't necessarily suit their body frame. A double-breasted jacket, you know, is really intended for someone of slimmer stature for the most part. Not necessarily short, but I'm saying just a smaller frame. So a guy who, you know, is pretty stocky and pretty big, you know, I'll make a double breast for you if that's what you want. But if you're trying to basically give a silhouette to thin your frame and make a smaller frame, then what we don't want to do is have a lot of fabric to overlap that shows in a larger mass, if that makes any sense. We just want a single breast so it can kind of keep things very sleek, for the most part. So, you know, there's little small little things like that that we can do. Lapel ranges, you know, those are what people call the flaps right here. Typically, you know, they're standard about 2 3/4 to 3 inches. You know, if you got a big guy, and we don't necessarily want to make those lapels bigger because he already has a broad chest, you know, so we would want to make them average, or we want to bring it in probably an inch or half an inch to, you know, for the most part. So, you know, it's a little small things like that that we can do to complement your frame and also your complexion and your height.
Damn, you put me on game.
Yeah.
What I about to hit you? Oh, what you think about the Steve Harvey look? The old Steve Harvey look.
Hey,
The
the
best
old,
bottom.
yeah. I mean, so that's the thing when it comes to trends. You
Oh.
know, the late '90s, early 2000s, mid 2000s, the what we call the athletic cut was in style, meaning the wide cuffs in the pants, the wide thigh range, the extra long jackets. You know, so that's not necessarily just a Steve Harvey look. That was basically the trend style around that time. I can show old pictures of me having, you know, wide cuffs and a longer jacket, because of the style preference. But however, Steve Harvey, he made it, I would guess, known and signature because he was a lot more visible. But also, I think he kind of gravitated towards the style a little bit longer than what it should have been for the most part. So that's why he got that moniker, the Steve Harvey suit, for the most part. But you know, that was just a style in the trend at that time, for the most part. Fashion is more so subjective, man. You know, just like your sense of style may be different from mine, because first, style is what you're comfortable in wearing.
Okay.
You know, that's the style in a sense. So, like my father, you know, he an OG player, man. You know, he still like wide cuffs in his pants, for the most part. He doesn't like his trousers to fit him very defined and tapered. However, it's actually very detailed, and the look is very manicured on him that it looks appropriate.
Okay.
And he wears it with conviction and confidence. So you can look at him and say, damn, that brother clean. And it may be something that you wouldn't wear, but the way that he wears it, that's his style. And it's you know, it's subjective. So you know,
Kind of like Michael Jordan.
Yeah, kind of like Michael Jordan. Now Michael Jordan he be going Michael Jordan, man, Michael Jordan go too far with it sometimes though, man. You know what I'm saying? Like he go too far with it sometimes. Like, man, you saw that Hall of Fame suit, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, man, he looked like he had curtains on, man, like on his damn pants, man.
Right.
But you know, that's his style. That's his style, man. That's what he like, and you know, if that's what he feel that he's comfortable in, you know, salute, you know, for the most part. You know, my style is more so I approach it in a classic way, but I kind of put like a modern twist on it. But the reason why I would say classic is because when I make clothing for myself, I would want to wear it 15, 20 years from now, as long as I maintain my size, because I got certain things back in college that I still wear for the most part, because it's classic.
I feel that. Key to the City podcast. We got my kinfolk Kyris Brown in here. One more style question, then I got one question to close out. The suit with the shorts, like LeBron had on. What's your opinion? What's your opinion on that? You rock that?
Nah, not your boy, man. Not your boy. You know what I mean? Not your boy. You know, LeBron is relatively we roughly in the same age. I'm 37. LeBron is 35. And you know them guys, they in Hollywood, man. You know them guys, they out west, and even before he went to the Lakers, you know he's in he is actually one of the people who is in the forefront of culture. You know, for the most part, and you know those type of guys, they will pretty much do certain things that are within the trends of what, you know, culture may deem as popular at the time for the most part. But me and myself, that's not my style at all, you know, for the most part. I think it's an oxymoron. Like, why would you have a long sleeve jacket on with some fucking shorts, you know, unless you're in California, you know, because that's California where, you know, my cousins out west, you know, in SoCal, you know, it wasn't none for them to wear they chucks, they tube socks, they khaki shorts, and a sweater. You know, that's their style. But, you know, here in Mississippi, that's not our style. So I dress more so appropriate for the climate and also for my style and my own comfort. But shout out to Brian, you know what I'm saying? But I can't do it, not your boy.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'1", 6'1" flat-footed.
6'1"? Nah, looking at your piece, I was like, nah, this nigga at least 6'5", 6'6".
Nah, man. Hey, I'm thin, man. I'm only a $185, soaking wet. But I'm real thin. I got long fucking legs, man. But no, I'm 6'1" flat-footed. If I put on some shoes, man, I'm 6'2", 6'2" and a half at most. But nah, man, if I was 6'5", my basketball career would have went a lot better than what it did. Especially baseball. You know what I mean? But nah, I'm 6'1".
Okay, bet that up then. My last question was, you know, I dedicate this platform to a lot of entrepreneurs like yourself in different industries, and you know, they always share a snippet of what their journey has been like. What's some of the obstacles you faced on this journey that you wouldn't mind sharing with us that could probably encourage someone else to keep pressing forward?
I mean, you know, I'm transparent, man. So I'm gonna give it. You know, I don't have a lot of time, but just to keep it 1,000, man. Like, if we wouldn't know what joy and happiness feels like if it wasn't for hardships.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, already being a black man, you already got the odds stacked up against you, man. So you should already have an underdog fight mentality. You know what I mean? As far as how you approach certain things in the world. You know, how I was raised, I was like the black sheep in my family. So I already kind of wore like a chip on my shoulder. And I always had like a prove it attitude. And I was always just self-determined and self-motivated. But adding the obstacles in which you will face that you can't control, that only fuels, you know, my endeavors and my passion to go out there and get what I want, man. You know, obstacles, man, they're good. Like, again, that goes back to me being an optimist and also a logical person. When shit happen, I deal with it. You know what I'm saying? That's the logic in it. And before it happens, I make sure that I strategize and I have a good sound game plan going into. So if the cards don't fold necessarily how I expected them to fold, they folded, and I'm finding opportunity somewhere in that deck when they basically collapse. And that's what you do with hardships, man. Hardships and the pains and the curveballs of life that you can't control, that you can't predict. You can't do anything about it. But the thing that you can do about it, you can find opportunity in it. So control and master and strategize for the shit that you can actually control. The things that you can't control, find an opportunity in it if it doesn't play out like it's supposed to. You know, Dr. Anthony Browder, he has a book called The Browder Files. That's what he's kind of known for. But he has a quote that's really been an affirmation for myself over the past 10 years, even though he's been saying this for a long time. And he's always said that there's no mistakes, no chances, no accidents, no coincidence, all ruled by the divine universe, divine order. Everything happens for a purpose. Everything. So for the last 10 years, I live my life that there's no mistakes, there's no accidents, there's no coincidence, there's no chances. This shit happened for a reason. Now, what am I gonna do with it to get on the other side to where I want to be? So, man, take that mindset of being, you know, basically consistent. Be realistic with yourself when it comes to your abilities, but be unrealistic to how you think in your vision. You know, like people say your dreams should scare you. Well, that's true. You know, they should scare you, but be realistic within your talents. That's like if you want to do something, but you know you don't have a natural talent at it, and you doing it for the wrong reason, then you need to focus on what you do well instead of trying to get in other people's lane. You know, like I have a lot of people always asking me about my craft, and I'm saying, well, where have you started? And most will say with you, and I'm like, well, nigga, that ain't good. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't got all the answers for you. I'm still trying to figure this shit out. You know what I'm saying? But it comes easy to me because I love it. I was doing this shit before I got notarized, you know, and glorified for this, man. Like I was doing this with my family, by myself. You know what I'm saying? So I just learned how to turn to a business, and here I am. But for the most part, man, just conclude. Just be real with yourself. Be real with your skill set. Learn. Try to perfect your craft. Be very focused. And understand that the mind is subservient. It'll do what you tell it. You just got to tell it what you want it to do, man. And from there, the body will follow, bro.
Boy, you just gave us a word there, and I needed to hear that. Yes, sir. Man.
Straight up, man. Straight up and down.
Plastic collection played around. Start over there.
yeah. What's that? Don't be a menace. Plastic collection around.
Yeah. Man, bro, we appreciate you stopping through the city, man. If ain't nobody told you lately, man, I'm proud of you, King. I want you to keep doing your thing, keep pushing forward, keep inspiring us. I'm definitely gonna do business with you in the near future. It's time for me to get right. I need at least one tailored suit. And man, just keep on pushing and take the same advice that you've given to us. If people want to reach out to you, they might want to get tailored up or just pick your brain or something like that. What's the best way to reach out?
Man, I got two methods. One is my Instagram following. If you go in the profile, you'll see my email address. If you click on the contact link, you'll have a direct access as far as number to me and also email. My website is also in the bio. You can go there. You can kind of view my story. You can view certain other things as far as things that I offer services. And then also you can find basically the consultation bio there as well, where you basically set up your consultation through there and it come directly to me. Those are two pretty much, access vehicles that I use. Instagram is Kyris Kustoms, KYRISKUSTOMS. And then also my website is www.kyriskustoms.com all together. And that's it, man. I appreciate the opportunity as well, man. I'm proud of you as well. And, thank you for sharing your platform, brother.
Thank you, boss. Anytime. And hopefully when this Corona shit pass, I'll be able to see you out in the city or something. We chop it up.
Likewise, man. Likewise, man.
Kinfolk, y'all tune in next week. We're going to have episode 10, man. Y'all go follow my guy, Kyris Brown, man. Support him. Spread the word. You dig that? Bless up, man. He is Kyris Brown, the founder, the designer of Kyris Kustoms. I am your Kinfolk, Yoni. We out this thing, man. Till the next time. Peace.